Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for everyone who is joining us today for today's media briefing. I am Rebecca Gibson King. I am the Communications Director for the Oregon Employment Department. Today's speaker is employment economist Gail Krumenauer. Andrew Stolfi, our director, Deputy Director Karen Madden-Hummelbaugh, Chief of Staff Sarah Foster, and Unemployment Insurance Director Sarah Cromwell will be on hand to answer questions after Gail's remarks. A couple of quick notes. We are recording this briefing and we will post the recording on our website later today. We will take questions after the opening remarks from Gail. And if you have any technical questions or otherwise, or technical difficulties or any other questions that you need to have answered, you can always email us at communications@employ.oregon.gov and we will be happy to help you. So now I will turn it over to State Employment Economist Gail Krumenauer. Take it away, Gail.
Hi, thanks, Rebecca. Thanks to everybody for joining us this afternoon. Yesterday, the Employment Department released the jobs numbers and unemployment rate for Oregon in August. Job growth returned to Oregon in August. Employers added 6,900 jobs to non-farm payrolls over the month. Private healthcare and social assistance had the largest gain, adding 2,500 jobs in August. Leisure and hospitality, which includes Oregon's hotels, restaurants, and entertainment places, added 1,500 jobs over the month. There was a notable decline in the wholesale trade sector, which lost 1,100 jobs over the month. It's encouraging to see employment bounce back a little bit in August. However, several of the large trends that we've been talking about are still ongoing. Oregon employers lost 18,300 jobs over the past year. That's a decline of almost 1%. We're still seeing that the job gains Oregon does have are highly concentrated in private healthcare and social assistance. The sector added 11,600 jobs over the year. We're also still seeing that manufacturing had the largest decline in Oregon over the past year. It dropped 8,500 jobs, or 4.5%. Oregon's unemployment rate was 5% in August. We've still seen little change in the labor force month to month in 2025. However, several months of small increases in unemployment have built up, pushing Oregon's unemployment rate to 5% this August, compared with 4.2% 1 year ago. With that, I'll hand it back to Rebecca for any questions and answers. Thank you.
Great. So now we're going to open it up for questions. You have Sarah Cromwell, our deputy for unemployment insurance. You have Karen Madden-Hummelbaugh, our deputy director, and we've got our director, Andrew Stolfi, if you would like to ask questions. Looks like we have a first question from Brad Ford with KEX. I'm going to go ahead and allow you to talk. All right, then go ahead, Brad.
Right, thank you. To Gail, what's driving the increase in healthcare and social assistance, adding jobs, and do you expect that to peak?
That's a great question. I think we're seeing healthcare and social assistance really ramping up over the past few years to meet the need of changing demographics. It's something that's happening in Oregon and across the US. Over the past year, private healthcare and social assistance has accounted for more than half of all job gains nationally. And so we're seeing that an aging population with greater needs tending to happen in the later years in life. I think that we're seeing that happen in over the past few years to a greater degree. In terms of within the healthcare sector, healthcare and social assistance sector, there's four main parts: ambulatory care, so doctor specialist office that you walk in and out of, hospitals, nursing residential care facilities, and social assistance, which includes things like housing and community services or child daycare. And we've seen increases in all four of those subsectors of healthcare over the past year.
Did you have a follow-up question, Brad?
I do. It's on a different topic, if that's okay.
That is perfectly okay.
Have the Intel layoffs hit, and then when do you expect the federal cuts to show up? I thought that the people that took the packages, those lasted through about September. Will we start to see that?
Gail, do you want to take the second part of that question, and then I'll toss it back to Sarah?
Yes. In terms of the federal government workforce, we've seen that over the past year, payroll employment at federal government agencies in Oregon has declined by 1,100 jobs. That does not include the folks who took the paid administrative leave or buyouts earlier in the year. My understanding is that many of those folks are still on the payroll or still receiving pay into this month or through this month. And so once they are no longer receiving a severance package or no longer on paid administrative leave, then those job reductions will hit over the next few months. I do believe there are also some situations where folks might be on paid administrative leave through the end of the year. So it's potential that we could see some loss in payroll jobs for federal government happen in the fourth quarter and maybe even into the beginning of next year.
Does that answer your question, Brad?
Yeah, it does. And then on the Intel question.
Yes, thank you for that question. We watch the layoffs that are occurring in the public and private sectors very closely so that we can be ready to assist those involved in the layoffs as needed. While the size of the layoffs in recent months are certainly significant, and we know that they'll have and have had a huge impact on the employees, employers, and the communities involved, we are and have been ready to assist them. What we notice is that layoffs do not necessarily translate to an immediate surge in claims, as many factors can influence when a worker files their claim, including whether or not they've received a severance package. Generally, we can process layoff claims pretty quickly because our systems can process those automatically, unlike claims where an investigation is required, such as when someone quits or is fired. So we haven't really seen a significant influx of additional workload that had a significant impact on our unemployment insurance claim program based on the layoffs that have occurred recently.
Good. Can I ask one more of Gail?
Sure.
Okay.
For you, Brad, yes.
All right. Thank you. So unemployment can increase because more people enter the job search, or they can also increase because people are being laid off. What is driving the increase, do you think?
In Oregon, what we've seen over the past year is slow labor force growth. The labor force, so anybody who's 16 and older who's either working, and that could be self-employed or working on a payroll or working on a farm, for the definition of unemployment or of employment in this measure. So it's either the employed or somebody who is not employed, but they're actively seeking work in the last 4 weeks and available and able to take a job if it's offered to them. So those two pieces make up the labor force. And what we've seen is the labor force has grown by a little more than 17,000 people over the past year, which is slow growth. What we're seeing is that it's pretty stable on the employment side. There's just been a very slight decline, but the growth in the labor force has been on the unemployed side. That's what's been happening in Oregon, and that's what's pushing the unemployment rate up. Now, nationally, there was a rebound in labor force growth in August, but for a few months prior to that, the labor force was actually declining, to your point, right? And the US unemployment rate is lower, slightly lower than Oregon's at 4.3% in August. So there could be some of that dynamic that's happening on the national level where people, instead of moving into the unemployed column, might be dropping out of the labor force, or maybe they're retiring and things like that as well, which could be holding the unemployment rate down a little bit nationally, whereas we're seeing it rise in Oregon.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to wait a couple more beats to see if I have any more hands raised. And I am not, so I'm going to bring this media briefing to a close. As a reminder, we recorded this briefing and we will send out the link to everyone who RSVP'd later this afternoon. And you can also find it on the media page at employ.oregon.gov under News and Agency Info. Thank you for everyone who came today and participated, and for helping us keep Oregonians informed about our very important services. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks.